Thank you so much for everyone being here today with us. So today's workshops is under the sub-theme of the 5 days forum, GSEF 2021. We'll have 5 speakers under the title of Innovative Social Finance Mechanisms from Diverse Territories to Strengthen SSE Ecosystem. Let me introduce you, our moderator, Philippe Guichangdu. Hopefully my pronunciation is okay. So he's the head of Inclusive Finance Development of the Foundation Grameen Crédit Agricole. He has worked for various French development NGOs, including France Volontaire, sorry about my pronunciation again, Save the Children France, and CCFD Terre Solidaire, including his work experience in Rwanda, India, and the Philippines. He has been in charge of setting up and monitoring development and microfinance projects. He became the first executive director of the European Microfinance Network when it was created in 2004, before joining the Grameen Crédit Agricole Foundation in November 2010. He has been also teaching development project management and microfinance for more than 20 years in France and abroad. Philippe, thank you so much for accepting again to be our moderator today, and the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and hello everybody. I'm very pleased to be here. I mean, I wanted to introduce myself, but you did it much better than me, so I will not take much of the time. I've been working in the field now of social finance for almost, if I'm adding up everything, almost 20 years, so quite a long time. And I'm very pleased to be part of this workshop because I really like the first term of innovative. I think that innovation has been somehow at the DNA of the sectors of social finance. And I think it's very important that we take the time today to discuss about it and see what are the different innovation that have been set up at different level, at the macro level, at the micro level as well. And we have the chance to have the 5 speakers together with us. We know that alternative finance has been there for a long time. I mean, with different forms. I mean, I've been working a lot in the microfinance sectors, but we know also there has been a lot of initiative at the community level. There's been a lot of initiatives through the cooperative movement, a lot of initiative on ethical finance. We talk a lot now about impact investing. So there's a lot of different type of initiative that have taken place in all part of the world. And here we will have people speaking from Argentina, from South Korea, from Turkey. I'm based in Paris, I'm based in France. So I think that we all have these global views and global pictures with all, I guess, the idea is to see how finance can really serve the underserved, how finance can be really an opportunity to support new ideas, to support the real economy and not to go for what we can see is, unfortunately, with the finance, which is speculations and to try to make people richer and richer. And I think that we are not here for that. I mean, we're here for a more inclusive way of looking at finance, because we know that finance is key in terms of development, in terms of human development. And that is very important to have such an approach. So the objective here of the session is really to be able to understand what have been the different initiatives that took place so far, and to recognize this diversity and with the different type of actors. And I think it's what is richness of this panel is that we will hear people coming from government initiatives, people coming from municipality, and then people coming from more the NGO side. And I think it's all these different combination of actors willing and hopefully having more or less the same objective that I think is the source of hope and the source of positive approach. As I said, innovation is key. I mean, without innovation, we cannot get adapted to the sectors. We cannot find the right solutions for the people we want to work with them. So I hope that through this panel, we will be able to look at the different diversities, to have exchange and learning session from each others and from the different experiences, and that way to be able to contribute to have a broader approach on all these issues of monetary and financial sectors, on how we can improve and influence also the mainstream finance sectors, because I think that if we remain just nice people doing nice things on our side without a strong influence on the mainstream, which is much larger than us, I mean, then I would say that we are a little bit, we could be a little bit helpless. So I will not take too much of the time. So we have, as I said, 5 speakers. Some of them are from, as I said, Argentina, South Korea, Turkey. I really want to say a special thanks for people from Argentina, because it's extremely early. And I know that everybody is sleeping in Argentina except our 2 speakers. So I think it's, I really want to have a special thanks. Thanks also for the evening for our speakers from Korea, and in the middle, like our friends from Turkey and myself, we are just in the middle of the day. So it's pretty good. So I will let each of the speakers introduce themselves 1 minute before we go for the first presentation. I want to excuse my pronunciations, and no habla muy bien español, so we're going to keep speaking in English, if you don't mind. So maybe Young Kyun Kim from the Ministry of Interior and Safety from South Korea. Could you introduce yourself rapidly?
Okay. Hi, this is Hyung-Kyun Kim from South Korea. In the past, I was worked in marketing, social enterprise, and in fundraising and planning at international NGO. So while I working, I thought about relationship between the sustainability of social enterprise and finance. So, and then I moved to Social Finance Institute, where I was in charge of the financing social economy enterprise.
Thank you. So
yeah, now I'm currently the government's in charge of the public-private partnership project to revitalize local community. That is my role. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. What I can hear at least is you have a very interesting professional experience, in the sense that you've been working in the NGO sectors and so on, and now you move to at the government level, and I think that's clearly that's a very interesting path. So let's now hear about Ruth Munoz from the National Institute of Social Economy, INAES, from Argentina. Ruth?
Yes, hi, good morning. If everybody could connect in Latin America, I'm sorry about my English. I will try to do my best, at least to make me understandable. Please let me know if I can't. I'm in Argentina, from Buenos Aires. It's our capital city. Now I am working in INAE since last year with the new government. Is I think the main organism promoting social and solidarity economy, our SSE. But my work is main on researching and teaching at the National University of General Sarmiento in the conurbano bonaerense, in the suburbs, more or less 30 kilometers from Buenos Aires, which is mainly focused on social economy and popular economy, and that is my approach to solidarity finance. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruth. We're going to remain in Argentina with Marcelo Torrano from the Municipalidad de San Martín. Marcelo? Is he connected?
Hello.
Yes.
Speaker English, castellano. Aquí desde Ruth puede hacer de traductor, de traducción.
Sí, sí, claro. Ruth, gracias para la traducción.
Soy Marcelo Torrano, soy subsecretario de Economía de Trabajo, Economía Social y Solidaria del municipio de San Martín, en el conurbano bonaerense, en la región AMBA, muy cerca de la Ciudad Autónoma de Buenos Aires, la capital federal de de nuestra nación y, por supuesto, en el territorio latinoamericano.
Muchas gracias, Ruth. In English?
So, yes, I will try interpreting.
Gracias, gracias.
No, please. Marcelo is Under Secretary of Labor and Social and Solidarity Economy of San Martin Municipality, and this is one of the nearest municipalities to the city of Buenos Aires, and it has a long tradition of promoting popular economy and social and solidarity economy, and he always also says that has a national and a Latin American perspective doing this practicing from the local state.
Okay, thank you, and we are really eager to listen. I think that Marcelo will have a first testimony through a video, but then of course he will be with us for the discussion and the Q&A session. Now let's go back to South Korea with Wang Jinsol from The Bridge. I don't know if I pronounce it well, Wang.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's great. Yeah, my name is Jinsol. Thank you for introducing, and I'm a founder and the CEO of The Bridge International, which is a nonprofit organization. At the same time, we are a certified social enterprise in South Korea, and then I'm running the crowdfunding platform to supporting the local entrepreneurs in developing country and also those Korean defectors living in South Korea. For them, we're supporting them to start their own business through our crowdfunding and other incubating the program. So I heard that our moderator Philip worked for a Grameen Bank, which inspired me a lot, to design impact donation model that I would like to present today. And then even after this the session, I hope to keep communicating, and if there is something that we can collaborate, it'd be great to have that chance. Thanks so much.
Yes, yeah, thanks a lot. And of course, I think that the opportunity of such a conferences and discussion is definitely networking, and the capacity to know initiatives that are around the places and make the links. And when I was the CEO of the European Microfinance, I did organize quite a lot of conferences at the European level, but also international level. And my question was also, what is the real impact of this type of meetings? And I think definitely what is the impact is something that you don't see now, is that what will happen next with the exchange we might have all together. So no problem, of course, to remain in touch. And now, last but not least, we are in Turkey with Ahmet Batat from NeedsMap.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Philip. This is Ahmet from Turkey. I'm the general coordinator of the NeedsMap Cooperative. My career pathway is very similar with Mr. Hyang Yun. Actually, I started my career as a volunteer in non-governmental issues organizations, and also I used to work in project manager, and then I moved to government official side, actually. I used to work in regional development agency as a development specialist, and mainly working on the entrepreneurship, competitiveness, and social development issues on there. And then I decided to move on the next path and joined the NeedsMap cooperative team and acting on the more social entrepreneurship side. And currently, I'm also making the consultancy work for the World Bank and United Nations Development Program, such as international organizations, as a consultant. And it's great to be here to share the Turkish perspective and practices of the NeedsMap Cooperative. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Hamid, and it's for your impressive also professional way and the broad pictures you can bring to the discussion. So I think that we are all convinced that the panelists here have lots of experience to share and innovation. And so we're going to start with Young Kyun, that's going to speak on the community access for local revitalization. So it's your turn, and if you want to share your presentation, if you do have one, I mean, please go ahead, and you have 10 minutes. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Okay, we can see your screen. Perfect. Go ahead.
Can you see this?
Yes,
right.
we can see it. Go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon. As I said, my name is Hyung Kim, and I'm working in social innovation support team, which is under the social innovation bureau at the Ministry of Interior and Safety in Korea. It is my pleasure to be here today and to introduce the Korean government policies on promoting social innovations. The government declared that it was putting social values at the heart of its operations to make Korea a people-centered nation. This means the governments always welcomed citizen participation to social problems. So in the middle of this change, our government direction, the Social Innovation Bureau was launched in 2017, and then became a regular organization in 2019. Social innovation is called a new way of solving social problems. We have many social problems in Korea. For example, we are facing problems such as the low birth rates and facing aging population and lack of jobs for the young and economic recessions. These problems are more serious in Korea now, especially in regional area outside of Seoul. To make a long story short, we want to build a many community to solve local problems in sustainable way. That's why we support cooperation and collaboration between the local governments and their residents to deal with their own problems. So we aim to encourage them to make a strong partnership to work together efficiently. So today, I'd like to introduce our community wealth building project. The community wealth building refers to an alternative ownership method in which local residents jointly own assets necessary for local community. The central government is promoting the CWB project as a national policy. Here it is. Our slogan is, let's build community wealth, increase asset ownership by citizens with a community wealth building project. This is a summary of a CWB project. As I mentioned, this page. So next on. So let me share with you the background of this project. The first, the rise of social conflicts and economic class disparities due to gentrification in metropolitan areas and large cities. This is because cities deepen economic polarization due to inequality in property ownership. So also, along with a declining population in rural areas, empty houses in cities increase. That's why it is necessary for a local community to directly own and operate the local space and lay the foundation for sustainable local development. Definition. The meaning of community wealth building is a new way of ownership that is not property owned. It is for people in community. You can see the picture behind the page. The project overview. There were 3 organizations that signed an agreement for CWB support project in October 2019. The Ministry of Interior and Safety was in charge of overall business and case discovery and evaluation standard and etc. So the pilot program began in 2019 and the main project launched in 2020. So it is still in progress. The purpose of CWB is to, as I said, to promote regional revitalization by securing common asset of the local community. So any community social economic company can apply for the CWB, the program, and loan the certain expenses. Currently status. Here's a record for CWB applicant counts in the last 2 years. Among the 156 applicants, 18 companies were selected. The total loan amount was 10.2 billion won. The selected 18 companies were distributed nationwide. As you can see, like the map of CWB. In fact, many applicants from the companies located in metropolitan area. So, however, our company arranged the area to prevent the disappearance of the local cities. So now I'd like to introduce a success case of a CWB project. The first is Gunmac Village Pub. It is located in the Mokpo province in southwest of Korea. The Gunmac has become a community wealth building by renovating an abandoned warehouse in Mokpo city. You might see the picture of left side of picture. The first floor runs a village pub, and the second and third floors are used as a guest house. So the important meaning of Gunmac was that 100 local residents participating in raising funds to get the community building. So this is the first case of the building that all members are the owners. Second case, this is a design pack social housing. It is for elderly and developmentally disabled. So the house provide a stable house environment, especially to use Internet of Things. So it provides a space a local resident to socialize. Next one, this is eco-friendly blue bike club. It is a creates and service an open space for local residents and tourists. They conduct bicycle safety training to local students. So also they contribute on environment cause through the garbage collection trip. And the last case is a giant community building. The building was abandoned as a local inn for 5 years. So one of the community companies wants to make this as a community building, where the visitors and young people wants to live here with a low lodging cost. Yeah. Expected outcome. The first, increase of local migrant through creating job opportunities. The second, enhancing social value by providing services to local community. The third, to contribute to the discovery of a local community by strengthening community with the local residents. So here's our government plan. Next year, this year, the promotion. The promotioning of the enacts and revision of ordinance for the smooth promotion of the CWB. the next year, expand the participation of private financial institutes and promote the expense of support the secondary maintenance and guarantee fee by local government. So here's a graph which is expected the CWB project count. So here's now 14 and next year 15, and it's getting more and more. Thank you. Local as owned by local residents. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And I think that there was clearly innovation. I was really, I mean, first, I think the ideas of working on assets management is, I think, very important, because I think that assets is really the need for growth. And what struck me in your presentation was also the diversity of the project that have been supported. It goes from pub. I was a little bit surprised to say about it, but I think it's
in this case, it's Gunmac case, you say?
Yeah, on the pub. The first one you present is related to the pub, which is, I think it's good, because I think we know it's a place where people meet, we know it's a community and people discuss and so on. So I think it was interesting, but we saw that it was not just a pub that you supported, but there was also actions related to this housing for the elderly. I mean, the hotel things and the club for the youth. So I think what was very interesting is we see that you try to reach all the people, I mean, from the youth people, from the elderly one, from people liking to drink beer or whatever. I don't know exactly what you drink in Korea, but whatever. Anyway, I think it was very innovative and very inspiring, for sure. And to see this diversity and how can be achieved, and especially when it comes from government, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so now let's go to our friends in Argentina and look at the policy instruments for strengthening the social and solidarity economy ecosystem in Argentina. Ruth, you got the floor, 10 minutes, please. And if you could stop, okay, sharing the screen, that's perfect. Now you can share your screen. Thank you.
Okay. Do you see it?
Yes, we can see it. Thanks a lot. Yes, we can see it. But we are now at the conclusion. So
yes, I'd like to start from the end.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, that's a way to be innovative in the way you present things. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. I accepted the invitation of the GSEF as soon as I received, because it's sometimes so hard for Latin American experience to get recognition worldwide. Although we have a lot of experience interesting in social and solidarity economy, in solidarity finance, and I think this is a great opportunity to share, because especially because policymakers in the field when I am working now still have a conventional vision of the economy, formal or informal, private and public, and this old kind of innovation that we are used to work and to see and to share in spaces like this are still too new or too less known in our countries, and we still have so conventional views, and instances like this are key, because solidarity finance, or in general financial instruments, are key for the inclusion of people. For example, in Argentina, we have half of population without sufficient income to the social reproduction and with barely social security. So we have a lot of work to do there with these kind of economies and this kind of instrument finance. Just a roadmap, I will try in 10 minutes First, to share with you what we are talking about when we say solidarity finance, and just to mention the titles of the main modalities in Latin America. Then, at least at a glance, to share with you the so underdeveloped financial system that we have in Argentina. A few words about main national and local policies based on this kind of instruments. I have chosen just 2 policies of INAES that is designing and implementing since the last year, and some concluding remarks. Our solidarity finance, we needed to write it, to create it when from General Sarmiento University we product an other economy international dictionary, and in the finance field for us it was necessary to create this definition like a watershed, because it was the apogee of the minimalism approach in microfinance. So with the Polanyian vision of the economy, we needed to put in the center the social and individual needs, so to recuperate the main functions and the intermediation. And that's why we speak about several specific financial modalities that emerge in response to hegemonic finance, and to speak about that kind of finance and the solidarity ones, not just because of its form, but in practices. We analyze and we do a lot of activities of extension in Indian University, and now also from the INAES, of these 9 modalities that more or less, like Philip says, are 20 years we are working on this field. So especially in Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil, Ecuador, the main countries we have been working, and we see we don't have enough time to deep on each of one, but since from the beginning of the workshop, we are talking about cooperative finance, mutual finance, now community financing in Korea. Also for us, is important the social currencies, popular finance, the community and the indigenous practice, especially in rural areas. We have several countries that are with a lot of rural population, for example, Mexico, also Ecuador. It's not the case in Argentina, but in general, all these kind of modalities, when we see the public policy, are underestimated because all the focus is put on microfinance or just on microcredit as the instrument, and we see that we lose a lot of diversity when we have all this kind of diversity, and just all the time we find the same instrument. Just at a glance to share our so underdeveloped system, we in Argentina, not all Latin America, we can even talk about capital markets working for this economy, and not even impact finance, also ethical finance, but we need to go back to 1976, our dictatorial regime, and that's why the main law that regulates the financial activity in our country is still in that period. All these 45 democracy years couldn't change and transform that, and that explains that indicators we have almost half of population that doesn't have any access to a banking account, or that open is because of the access to the social policy. Just 8% that of the people saving at an formal financial institution. And if we talk about popular economy, almost all the operations are in cash in the current years. But that's why, because if we see the structure of the entities, I'd like to use our former president of FINAES, Mario Cafiero. He talks about cooperativism in general, and in finance we have a financial cooperativism, because before this law the half of the system was composed by cooperatives, banking and non-banking, and today we have non-cooperative or credit union and just one bank that remains the practice and the principles of cooperatives. All the other is just conventional finance, or prepare for the speculative approach. And that's why we have this kind of indicators in the performance related to the real economy and the social and solidarity economy that is very excluded. But when we go to policies, especially since our last crisis, we see that all the real sectors, it's a transversal and intersectorial need, the financing like a demand. But if we see the responses from the national government, it was just a law, a microcredit national law, and the goal was to finance social economy. But when we analyze what kind of activities were financed, it is just family, special and formal, entrepreneurship, very little. And we have our director of our social master thesis calling it is social policy for social economy, but it's poor economy for poors. And again, we think we lose a lot of diversity with this approach, just with this only one instrument target to this kind of economy. But if we see to the COVID crisis, we have the first policy target, especially to labor cooperatives, through our main bank, the National Bank, but just they got 6% of the available funds, because it has a very supply-driven approach. From the desk, they designed and they thought that's it gonna be great, and it wasn't, because it didn't respond to the answer and the needs to the sector. And then we have a lot of associations, informal circuits, village banking that are working with this real economy, popular and social solidarity, but it's usually doesn't take it into account by policy makers, and again, we need to do a lot of work there. If we focus on our area, the conurbano bonaerense near Buenos Aires, here we have the map of Argentina in the global south, and Buenos Aires province. The city of Buenos Aires is the number one, and we have done a research in all these municipalities, and in 24 municipalities, more than half has special policies target to popular economy and social and solidarity economy, but just 4 of them were using financial instruments. And when we focus what kind of instrument, again, microcredit is the main instrument. And here I will don't talk about too much, because San Martin is always an exception for us, because the national microcredit law, for example, just talk about the destination of the amounts for production and services, and they had incorporated the housing progressive and not just asset management, because the budget available are not enough, but yes, this improvement with microcredit. And if we see the numbers, it's microcredit with individual and solidarity group lending for very short, very medium, very short scales and short terms. And again, it's not all the diversity of our fields in the social and solidarity economy. From INAES, since last year, one of the photos it was especially chosen because I have chosen just two because of the time limit, two policies in order to, in this rationality, very ration credit and exclusion, is not as innovative as we can see in other places, but for us, for this inclusion I have just introduced, it was a lot, at least first to start with the linkage between mutual savings and credit for cooperatives, because the scale of cooperatives is not always satisfied by microcredit, and they have developed some kind of adaptive behavior just for the tools that are available, not in the financial system and also not in the public policy. So just short-term activities and very little scales. And with this kind of intermediation from INAES that subsidize the interest rates and also recuperated the savings of the mutual in an intermediation that it's not allowed from the law. That is crazy, but I must insist with this. We made this intermediation for dairy activity, for the wine industry in Mendoza, with federations of cooperatives that works a lot there, and it was co-constructed, fully executed, and also the first policy that I think Marcelo is going to deep on there, it was scaling up the policy of San Martin to promote purchasing programs to social and solidarity economy, special cooperatives, not all kind of organizations, but that allows us, and now it's in several municipalities, not just in San Martin, I think more than 10 municipalities, and the projections are very large there, that they can't avoid the ceilings that the microcredit law impose for the amount credits to cooperatives. And that, I think, it's a well noticed, but still focus on credit instruments. That's why we need to move forward from financial inclusion and microcredit to all the diversity of need and instruments, also to institutionalize co-constructed and co-evaluated policies, and again to leverage this kind of forums and spaces to get more support and well-known of these kinds of policy. Many thanks.
Thanks a lot. I mean, you spoke a little bit more than the time allocated, but that's fine. It was very interesting, and we saw that you were very, you were very motivated, and it was, I mean, coming from lots. I think it was very interesting because, I mean, I've been working in the microfinance sectors for a long time, and I think that the fact that you really insist on the fact that microfinance is not the only way to look at social and solidarity economy, and that we need to work with different tools, with different larger approach, and go for co-construction and so on, and make lots of linkages and so on, I think was extremely relevant. And I think it's not only true in Argentina, but it's also true in a lot of other places where we do work, where we know that microcredit is not the only solution, and it's much more. Okay, so let's move on with the video. I don't know, I hope that the Secretariat staff of GSEF will be, as I assume, very efficient. So I'll let you the... okay. to see it, I guess. So I know it's in subtitle in English, so go ahead.
Del conurbano bonaerense de la República. Hola, ¿qué tal? Buenos días. Muchas gracias a todos, a todas, por la invitación y por estar escuchando esta participación de la Municipalidad de San Martín. Mi nombre es Marcelo Torrano, soy el subsecretario de Trabajo y Economía Social y Solidaria de este municipio, del conurbano bonaerense de la República Argentina. Muchas gracias al GSEF, muchas gracias también a INAES México, quienes estuvieron en este tiempo, son los responsables de la organización. Les voy a contar estrategias de la economía social, popular y solidaria como una estrategia de desarrollo sustentable y para la promoción del trabajo justo. La Municipalidad de San Martín pertenece a la provincia de Buenos Aires, está muy pegado a la ciudad autónoma de Buenos Aires, a la capital federal de la República Argentina. Estos son los números de la provincia de Buenos Aires. San Martín tiene una densidad habitacional tiene 431.854 habitantes, según el censo 2010. Ahora se calcula que somos más de 500.000 los habitantes. No se pudo hacer el último censo, estaba previsto para el año pasado, por obvias razones de pandemia. Es el tercer distrito más densamente poblado del país y contamos con 169 asentamientos precarios o villas, como se les suele llamar en el momento, y representa el 2% de la fuerza industrial del país. Es un conglomerado industrial muy grande el que está en San Martín y genera el 5% del PBI nacional y el 12% del provincial. Como les decía recién, estamos en la región metropolitana de Buenos Aires, más conocida como AMBA, que tiene más de 12 millones de habitantes, una densidad demográfica muy alta y esa superficie que es de 2.681 kilómetros cuadrados y está dentro de las 3 aglomeraciones más grandes de América Latina, conjuntamente con San Pablo y con la ciudad metropolitana de México. Nosotros desarrollamos estas acciones de políticas públicas desde la Municipalidad de San Martín. La Municipalidad de San Martín cuenta con 8 secretarías, el departamento ejecutivo, y dentro de esas 8 secretarías está la Secretaría de Desarrollo Social, y dentro de estas tenemos 3 subsecretarías, una agencia con rango de subsecretaría, que es para la integración política del cuidado, la Subsecretaría de Derechos Humanos y Desarrollo de la Comunidad. Por supuesto que todas las subsecretarías dentro de la Secretaría de Desarrollo tenemos políticas comunes, nos atravesamos, nos enredamos permanentemente en acciones en territorio. Y nuestra Subsecretaría de Trabajo y Economía Social y Solidaria. Aquí tenemos estos 4 estrategias, por decirlo de alguna manera, que dividimos para poder contarles de una mejor manera nuestras políticas públicas. Una es el financiamiento, la autogestión, la capacitación y la comercialización. Esto es un apoyo integral a los actores de la economía social y solidaria. El Fondo de Financiamiento Solidario, empezamos por financiamiento, tenemos el Fondo de Financiamiento Solidario para producción y habitacional, el Fondo Rotatorio Monseñor Angelelli, Corazón Recové, y el Fondo Construir Dignidad, que también es apoyo a las familias para que mejoren sus viviendas y sobre todo, gran parte de ellas en esas villas, asentamientos, esos barrios precarizados, precarios, donde la pobreza es mucha. Todo esto de financiamiento con una estrategia de finanzas solidarias. Nosotros queremos promover las finanzas solidarias y lo trabajamos desde esto. Una segunda entrada de trabajo y de exposición para ustedes es la autogestión, y allí tenemos el registro de empresas sociales recuperadas, la exención de la tasa de seguridad e higiene, que es un tributo municipal, y ante determinadas estrategias que tenga la empresa social y cooperativa de apoyo o de extensión hacia la comunidad, se le realiza esta exención. Y la habilitación comercial temporaria y modular para proyectos de cooperativos y de empresas sociales. Después tenemos un buen desarrollo de capacitaciones, el curso integral de gestión de emprendimientos, por ejemplo, aquí pasa muchísima gente, capacitación en economía social y solidaria, donde planteamos cómo podemos hacer desde otra economía posible la estrategia de llevar adelante su producto, valorando sobre todo la cooperación y no la competencia, por ejemplo, entre otras cosas, y creando un ecosistema entre cooperativas, emprendimientos sociales, emprendimientos asociativos, empresas sociales en definitiva, y el curso de formación, los cursos de formación en oficios y calificación laboral, que esto está diseminado en todo el territorio, le decimos muy capilares, muy en organizaciones sociales sobre todo, pero también en dispositivos municipales. Allí el oficio es en distintos oficios, muchos de ellos pueden ingresar al mundo del trabajo tradicional, pero también ahí nosotros propendemos, sobre todo teniendo en cuenta la realidad de este mundo, de este tiempo, que tenemos una gran parte de la población que ya no va a conseguir un trabajo en una empresa, entonces lo que queremos es que se organicen o que realicen sus emprendimientos autogestionados. Por otro lado, y por último, en estas 4 entradas, la comercialización con el compre solidario. Esto es el municipio de San Martín como una tercera pata de la economía, comprando a actores de la economía popular, social y solidaria. Las ferias de comercialización, como Mano de San Martín, que tiene muchos años, ya más de 9 años trabajando, y es una feria consolidada donde más de 250 trabajadores todos los meses exponen y venden sus productos, y en gran parte viven de esta feria, que tiene entre 8 y 9 encuentros, ya lo vamos a ver un poquitito más adelante. Apoyo a almacenes populares de la economía social y solidaria. Muchas organizaciones sociales en este tiempo, pensando en el abastecimiento popular, han iniciado y están avanzando en estrategias de comprar, de vender, de trabajar el tema de los alimentos, que es un problema muy importante en nuestro país. Y las ferias de almacenes de consumo popular o mercados populares itinerantes que desarrollamos con mucho desarrollo territorial, recorriendo gran parte, y en esto vamos a tener mayor desarrollo aún en los próximos meses y en el próximo tiempo. Les agradezco muchísimo habernos acompañado en este momento, y tengo el gran gusto de seguir escuchando a todos los compañeros que están en esta mesa. Muchas gracias, disculpen que esto haya tenido que ser traducido. Mi inglés no es para nada bueno, iba a ser medio inentendible, entonces preferimos hacer esta traducción. Ahí tienen las vías de comunicación. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos, por estar atentos y a disposición de todos ustedes.
Thanks, muchas gracias, Marcelo. And I think it was very clear, very, very good. And I think it required a lot of work to prepare this video. So I think it was, thanks a lot. And it has had this chance that really you kept in the 10 minutes. So it was, maybe we should all do video that way to be sure to respect the time. But anyway, thanks a lot. And I think I was extremely interested by your comprehensive support to the actors, because we really see all the value chain behind the social and solidarity economy, where you start with the financing, you have issues with what you said, where you said the self-financing. I mean, all the training session, which I think is key, very important also to have these non-financial services. And so at the end, all the marketing you do and to try to have a local economy of businesses and so on. I think this kind of value chain makes a lot of sense, and I think should inspire a lot of us. So thanks again. So now we go back. We are a little bit late, but let's go with back to this time to South Korea with Hang Jin-sol. I don't know how to pronounce it. That's going to share with us the experience of the bridge on impact financing for sustainable development and mutual prosperity. Hwang, it's your turn. Thanks a lot. Okay, we can see your screen. Perfect.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so as I introduced, I'm running the crowdfunding platform, and I'm gonna introduce what I'm doing through this. Actually, this is the photos that I took in the Uganda. They are like a student studying in the rural area in Uganda, and the photo on the right side, they are like a farmers in the rural area in the Uganda. So, usually when we think of these African people, we might consider them as like a beneficiary, because they need some support from us. Could be some funding, or their kind of the medical supply, etc. So many of nonprofit organizations in South Korea, we consider them as beneficiary or the participants. But the Bridge International, we consider them as our partner, or we trust them to be the social innovator to change their own community in Uganda. So, as you know, there are 17 goal of SDG. Among them, we are focusing on the goal 17, which is the partnership, because the partnership is easy to mention. In many cases we use this terminology a lot, but honestly, it is really difficult to have a genuine partnership, because in order to build the real partnership, there is the precondition, which are respect and trust. If we do not respect other people, the partnership just becomes like superficial. If there is no trust each other, partnership is just wording, not real things. But for example, I'm from Korea, but there are someone from Uganda. So we have grown up in totally different atmosphere and environment. So honestly, even for me, it's really difficult to truly respect the people in Uganda, because sometimes they look different from me. They look strange, in some sense, because we have different the worldview, or the different the window to see the community or this society. So respect is the first, the step. In order to build the respect, we need to recognize, acknowledge that we are different, and then based on the respect, we might trust each other. So based on these two, probably we really make a real partnership. So in order to show, or in order to make a real partnership, I designed a little bit unique, funding model, which is between donation and investment. Actually, there are two types of the financial model in general. First one is donation, as you know. It's for vulnerable people. And as you see the pictures, and investment, there are another way of the financing, which is more like focusing on the entrepreneurs who create the high return profit, right? But I was wondering, what is the best financing model to support the people, the farmers in Uganda? Probably because donation is not that appropriate, because the farmers in Uganda, they have the passion and the idea, to be self-reliant. So donation might not that appropriate. The investment, there are many like commercial investors, but I'm sure that they are not, interested in, the farmers in Uganda because of lower interest rate, or in the future. So that's why I designed the impact donation and the model, which is the combine the concept of donation and the investment. There are local entrepreneurs in developing country who would like to start their own business, and they ask us some funding for seed money, and then we raise some funding for these entrepreneurs. And after raising funding, we deliver this money to the local entrepreneurs. And then after they become self-reliant, their responsibility is to return the principal to the bridge, so that we can utilize again to support the other local entrepreneurs. So each very similar, like a Kiva in San Francisco in the United States, but Kiva is the loan, but the bridge we utilize as a donation. That is the biggest difference. So in order to I prepare one of the video clip to explain this model because it's easier. So can you see the video?
We call helping the rich as investment, but helping the poor as cost. It's a quote from the former president of Brazil, Lula. Although donation is a necessary social investment to tackle poverty, it indeed sounds unfamiliar to call donation an investment, for it doesn't make financial returns. Is it really impossible to combine the concept of donation and investment? The Bridge's impact donation originated from this question. Then, how does impact donation work? First, go through the stories and social impacts of each project in developing countries on the website. Then, make an impact donation on the project you like through the means of crowdfunding. 100% of the funds raised through impact donation are given to the local entrepreneurs without commission. Then, the local entrepreneurs initiate their business for self-reliance and repay the principal according to the rate of self-reliance. A portion of the repayment is returned to donors as impact points, and those points can be donated to other projects, expanding the virtuous cycle of donation. Another portion of repayment is used as the operating fund for the bridge. Through this approach, the bridge pursues to be a global social enterprise which grows together with self-reliance of developing countries. Not only that, the cash flow of each project is transparently open to the public on the website. Social impacts generated from the donations are analyzed and reported in impact sharing reports to the donors. Impact donation for a smart you. Amazing changes of the world begin from you. Casting a new light on donation. The value of togetherness. The bridge.
Yeah, the time is almost. So actually that is the brief summary of the crowdfunding platform. And through this, we would like to show our entrepreneurs, developing country, that we really trust them, because I don't know if you can find this information or not, but the key point of this crowdfunding model is that the bridge, we create the revenue through these local entrepreneurs. If they fail to redonate the principal, the bridge, there is no revenue. But if they successfully redonate the principal 100%, our revenue is very high. So our sustainability is directly linked to their sustainability. So just mentioning the partnership, sometimes it's not the persuasive and it's not enough. So we it's a very risky business model, but we would like to show them we grow together, we mutually grow and prosper through this crowdfunding platform, so that our entrepreneurs who get the funding from us, they don't feel their sense of inferiority. They are very proud of themselves because they know that we trust them. And then through this platform, we would like to grow together. That is the core value of the bridge. Okay, thank you so much for your listening. So, and then I would like to talk more about the issues if you have any questions later. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I think it was very inspiring again. I think we will all go to your platform, and I hope that a lot of people following your discussion will make some donation, this new type of donation, because I think this new concept is quite relevant. And what I like it a lot is when you talk about partnership, and the value of partnership and the way we can do it, and that you link also the sustainability of the people you are supporting, and also I think that this interconnection makes a lot of sense, and I think that partnership is clearly key in all the work we do. So we are delayed. I mean, we were supposed to have the intervention of Ahmed at least 15 minutes ago, but anyway, we will keep on. And I'm very pleased now to give the floor to Ahmet, that's going to talk about what they do in Turkey on needs map. Ahmet, it's your turn.
Thank you very much, Philippe. Can you show my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. Thanks a lot.
And let me find. Okay, yes. And thank you again. I'm going to present our practices, social impact practices in Turkey with the Needs Map Cooperative. But let me start with who we are. What is the Needs Map? Actually, Needs Map is a non-profit cooperative from Turkey. We are a social platform cooperative of Turkey. And actually, we have an online platform. We collect the social needs of the Turkey with each provinces at the neighborhood level with our map-based technology. We validate them with our volunteers and local partner organizations, visualize them, and after that, we connect that social needs with the proper supports through our platform. All these things happen in online, actually. And we founded in 6 years ago, and so far we have reached 100,000 members, and over 1 million pieces, packages, supports are implemented on our map-based system. So we work very closely with local partners, organizations, and municipalities as well. We define ourselves as a Turkey's solidarity point, because let's think about a teacher. If teacher needs a musical instrument for its students, they can easily enter their needs into our map-based platform, and the persons who want to support them can easily filter these needs according to the location level, and also they can be aware of what's happening in their nearby. For example, they can easily see that school in that neighborhood, and that school needs musical instruments for the children, and they can easily connect into our platform, and we make the proper supports. What I'm trying to say is in this presentation regarding the innovative social finance mechanisms, actually, and I want to make a bold statement, if you don't mind, but we all know that the economy that we experience today doesn't work for all. Mr. Anand Girit Haradas, I met with him in New York 2 years ago before the COVID. He clearly describes a very thought-provoking book, Winners Take All, and he argues the philanthropic approach and the billionaires and investments approach on the social good things, actually. I do not agree all of his, the arguments, but one thing that I believe in is as a social entrepreneur side and although the investor, philanthropist, finance mechanism sides, private industries must change their attitude towards working on their issues as well. Especially this need of change is become more evident during the crisis times. This figure is from the Brookings Institute, and it clearly shows that the crisis hits the poor countries very hard. Poverty rates are increasing, and even in developed countries, actually, the inequalities are rising. People loses his jobs, income levels as well. But from the entrepreneurial side, even these disasters, crisis is bad for the economy, all the people, but it also provides some opportunities for developing innovative approach as well, because the environment has changed. So the world needs us. So we became with the new ideas for the changing environment. So I'm going to share two different examples we implemented in Turkey. Last year in 2020, at the end of the October, I think the 3rd of the October, a big earthquake hits the Turkey Aegean site, the Izmir, the 3rd biggest city in Turkey. It's located in the Aegean coastal site, and almost 6 million inhabitants lives there, and almost 15,000 people displaced from their homes due to the earthquake's devastating effects. And at that time, we were also experiencing the first and end of the first wave of the COVID pandemic. And if you follow the international political debates, right now Turkey experiencing some political instability because the central government is the right wing and the local governments, I mean the municipalities, is belong to the left wing. And during the COVID time, government banned the fundraising campaigns that can implemented by the municipalities. They banned the municipalities to collect the funds for the inhabitants in their citizens actually. So during that earthquake, the traditional response actually for the shelter, because people lost their houses, the traditional response is actually establishment a tent camp for the disaster victims, for the survivors, providing 3-month, 2-month shelter opportunities, and after that, providing a container city, and 2 years later, providing a new buildings for their, livelihoods continuity. But what we are doing is actually, after the 3rd days of the earthquake, we got partnership with the local municipality, collected the displaced families data, visualized on the map-based system, and providing a peer-to-peer payment transaction system between the supporters and the displaced families beneficiaries. In just 1 month, we raised almost $6 million US, and we provide 6-month rents for over almost 9,000 families and individuals, the people who have extra homes in Izmir, because it's a summer place. They share their homes for these victims as well. So we do not collect money on behalf of cooperative. We just creating a payment system from the supporters to the direct beneficiaries. Another example is during the COVID times. Actually, we developed a social marketplace. It's like a Amazon-style marketplace for the needs map. We come up this idea because the COVID pandemic, the government make the curfew measures for preventing the spreading the COVID pandemic. So they banned to go outside. So supermarkets are closed. People loses their jobs, and the poverty rates are high, even in the big cities, developed cities as well. There is most of the people enter our system, so we need food, we need hygiene packages, we don't have enough food for our children, this kind of things. And we come up with the idea that what if we created an Amazon-style social marketplace, a marketplace that just consists of the local grocery shops where the needs are occur. So if a person wanted to support a family, make a donation to family, they do not need to send directly to money. They can easily buy the food packages, cloth packages from the location where the needs are occur. So Raj Kumar, the founder of the DevX, he wrote this idea. We partnered with MasterCard Turkey, and also we got funded from the MasterCard Impact Fund for this project. Raj Kumar described this project as a contactless 8th level because there is no any human interaction. Just think about that. We are just operationalizing in Turkey right now, but just think about that. If a person from Rwanda works in DC and wanted to make a support for the Rwandan family, he or she can easily make payment for the local grocery shop in Rwanda, very close to them. In that project, we reached 15,000 beneficiaries and almost $150,000 in just 6 months. Right now, we are using this system for the livelihood improvement approach in the victims of the wildfire attacks that we faced the 2 months ago in Turkey during the summertime. What I'm trying to, at last but not least, actually, these technology things is important. The social finance mechanisms is important, and it helps us a lot. But we need to, actually, we are the small community, actually. We are not too crowded. We are the small community. But we need to make our works more visible. So the mainstreaming is an important part. So we use the art and culture ecosystem on this issue. So during the COVID time, we organized Turkey's first sustainable online music festival. It broadcasted on YouTube 16 hours long. We have 45 celebrities, artists, songwriters. They come and join, sing the song, and live broadcasting. And we sell the tickets, and people can support the needs during the needs that emerged during the COVID-19 period. So we reached out 30 million viewers and supported the almost 350 social needs from our platform. So I just wanted to emphasize 4 important things from the practitioner perspective, actually, for implementing the social innovation and social finance mechanisms. The first thing is the solving social problems versus creating economic value. I believe that actually the innovative social mechanism could include an creating economic value approach while solving the social problems. Without creating an economic value, even if you have a great innovative approach on social problems, but if you don't create any economic value, I'm so sorry, you're going to be a philanthropic approach. It's not the social innovation or the social finance innovation approach. So we need to create an economic value for the beneficiaries, for the all sides as well. The second one is Junsol clearly described the sponsorship and the partnership. The partnership is a must, but in our works, we understand that the multi-level partnership is needed. In these projects, we partnered with MasterCard. We use all the payment technology. So this provides the trust between the supporters, beneficiaries as well. And also we use the local governments, the municipalities. And also we work with the non-governmental organizations, other charity organizations. So if you're going to be making a design, you need to consider the multi-level partnership, and you need to ensure that to invest the partnership enough time. And at last, but not least, the social value and the shared value. Yes, the current economic system is under siege, and all the private sector organizations, conglomerates, big companies, finance institutions thinks that, okay, we have a big market share right now. We are going to make a product that provides a solution for the underserved markets because it's a market segment. No, it's the wrong approach. To gaining a more market share is not good for the company, the private sector, or the world as well. Instead of focusing on the competitive or the rivalry, the creating shared value between the beneficiaries and the core business is important. And Michael Porter described this very broadly and very well definedly. So I believe that the only way to transform the current situation is the creating shared value between these two organizations. And I highlighted with the red because I believe that the social finance mechanism is a broader concept. Professor Ruth described very well described this issue. And on the social entrepreneurship side, we need a born global type social enterprises. Philippe, the Gunmac Foundation is one of the global organization. Yes, I know. And the Mohammed Yunus methodology is globally well known. The methodology became the global. We have the microcredit instrument in Turkey as well, in everywhere. But we need I describe it as a unicorn of a social enterprise through its impact. We need like the Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, a very simple solution for working on the social enterprise side. And I believe that social finance mechanism provides much more opportunities, but we need much more thinking on how to develop born global type social enterprises, especially on the social finance issue. And this is my presentation. Thank you very much. And I just wanted to share good news from us. Yesterday, we just got the news. As NeedsMap, we applied the social economy prizes in Europe, which is implemented by the Social Economy Europe, and we declared the top 3 finalists on social innovation. The next week, we hope that we get the award to Turkey, and I just wanted to share with you. Thank you very much for your time.
Ahmed, thank you. Thank you very much for this very good news, and congratulate to you. Even though you might not at the end get it, I think that the fact that you are in the first selection is very optimistic, and of course we will cross our fingers so that you get it. Because I think that what was very interesting on your side is that you insisted on the issues of visibility. I think on the fact that when you say that we need to go at a higher level, I think it's all the issues of scaling up and being a little bit more visible. What was very interesting also, and it was true also with the discussion we had with Bridge, is the way you have been using, the two of you, the new technology. And clearly, I think that new technology is something that is quite promising in terms of innovation, but also in terms of the capacity to reach more people, new people. I mean, people that are a little bit aside from our usually target. And I think it was something which was very, very important. And I like also the ideas you mentioned that, I mean, crises are opportunities and opportunity for changes. And I think it's really true. So guys, we are supposed to end up in 5 minutes, but I do have good news, because if you're ready, we can stay a little bit longer. I think that Jeff said that we could have at least 10, 15 minutes more. So I think it's, we're going to use it. I remind you that, I mean, the main issues of the question we have was to see and what should be the action and the strategy that should be developed by by the government, by the group, by the societies to achieve a much better inclusive world. And I think that here we do have already some of the answers, because I think that you at all your level, government level, municipality level, NGO, local level, you've been able to bring new ideas. And I would like you to ask either one of the two questions. First, what do you think has been how did the COVID crisis, you think that we say, like, let's look at it as an opportunity? So I would be quite interesting to hear from you. What do you think there's this new crisis that makes the world things a little bit differently? Because I think that suddenly we were confronted to issues that we never had to deal at the global level. So how do you think that it has been able to be raised as an opportunity? And how do you think that this opportunity can be used to influence the more conventional economy, the more the way, I mean, the economy is managed so far? And how do you think we, at your level or at our level, all of us, we should be able to be maybe stronger in terms of advocating for a new paradigm in terms of economic development? So I don't know who wants to start, who has some ideas.
I will first write in Spanish the questions to Marcelo, please.
Oh,
and
okay.
If somebody else can start, I write to him so he's thinking about it, and then I could answer.
Gracias, muchas gracias. So who wants to go for it? Maybe
I can share. Yeah,
yes,
Philip, I can share, because I put the idea crisis is the the opportunities.
Yeah.
I believe that actually for the developing new innovation side, especially on the social innovation, the one thing we must consider is to understand the environment. During the crisis times, the environment has totally changed, and the traditional approaches were updated during that times, actually, because when we consider the COVID-19 process in Turkey, we have a very strong logistic system, we have very strong banking payment system. Apart from it's different from the Argentina, actually. Almost 100%, 98% people had the bank accounts, for example, in Turkey. But the philanthropic world still depended on the establishing the community centers, people and volunteers gathering together and providing some the new things, providing the services for the people who are in need, the poor people, or according to their mission. But during the COVID-19 time, the curfew measures are made, and we got stuck into our houses. So we understand that there is a huge technology gap in Turkey, for example. Most of the students don't have computers, for example. They do not have any internet access and the other stuff as well. And also, if you want to reach the poor people, or if the philanthropy organizations, non-governmental organizations lost their volunteer muscles, actually, because everybody stays at home. So this changing environment actually creates an opportunity for, especially based on the using the technology, online things, especially. That's why NeedsMap, we have started using the map-based technology, GIS system and online system 6 years ago. But coincidentally, actually, during the COVID times, we are the only organization that can continue its operation. So I believe that this crisis times, during the crisis times, as social entrepreneurs, must first understand the changing environment and adapt its current policies, applications to the new environment. So it creates a new opportunities. And other important thing is actually in these crisis times, the emotions are high. So you can easily, change the ideas, the mainstream ideas, advocacy, the new approaches for the public, even individual people, even private sector organizations or the international organizations, because people are starting to thinking more emotionally. And so you can create a new synergy over there. So you can easily describe your mission so people understand us. During the COVID times, we met lots of the private sector organizations who is implementing corporate social responsibility projects. So at that times, they understand us because they stay at home or they just faced with the devastating effect of the wildfire or an earthquake. So they just focusing the main mission. They forget about the rivalry, competition, profit making. They just focusing on the making social impact. So this is good actually for us. So we are going to have an opportunity very well to describe the wisdom of the crowd actually in that times.
Okay, thank you. Could we have some views either from Argentina or from South Korea?
Yes, I could go.
Okay.
Okay.
Ruth,
Marcelo, you first. Vos primero, yo traduzco. Estás muteado.
Sí, por favor. Thank you. Voy a meter dos palabras en inglés para que no quede tan mal. Son dos nada más. Bueno.
I know two words in English and I'm going to say it, so I don't feel so badly.
Bueno, como nosotros entendimos, este video que yo grabé duraba 23 minutos, donde explicaba mucho más, ¿no? Todas nuestras políticas.
Well, okay, just the phrase. He said that the video, the first version of the video, it wasn't with 9 minutes, but with 23 minutes, and there he could live on every policy and more on the financial instruments.
Una de ellas es la oportunidad que nos dio la crisis de COVID, la transformamos en oportunidad para fortalecer el ecosistema de la economía solidaria y sobre todo a través de las compras públicas. Que
one of them, okay, one of them was one of the policy he cut to enter in this 9 minutes was how to transform the COVID crisis into an opportunity, especially through public purchases.
De todas las compras que el municipio realizó principalmente el año pasado, es salud para atender la crisis COVID y desarrollo social para atender dentro de la crisis COVID la necesidad de abastecer con alimentación a la población. Nosotros llegamos a 500 toneladas mensuales de entrega de mercadería para 80.000 personas mínimo.
Okay, with numbers. I hate numbers in English. He was saying that the main budget destination during the crisis was the sanitary and social development, especially food security, and the increasements in the budget through popular economy and social and solidarity economy was cautious. They reached to provide with 500 tons per month to all the families that need it, especially poorest in San Martin, through popular and social solidarity economy, special cooperatives.
Eso significó que de todo el gasto de la Secretaría de Desarrollo Social, el 40% fue destinado a compras a empresas sociales y cooperativas. Y este año, 2021, vamos por el 60%.
they have reached in the Social Development Secretary, where this Undersecretary of Labor and SSE developed its activity. They have reached up last year up 40% of the budget to these purchases, and they are planning this year this percentage is going to increase to 60%.
Eso nos dio una gran oportunidad de fortalecer el trabajo digno y pensar en una estrategia de desarrollo para el sector de la economía social y solidaria.
And that was a huge opportunity to strengthen all the ecosystem of popular and SSE economy.
Y ahí
Jung, please
todo.
intervene you if no, it's okay.
Que allí contesté las dos juntas.
Okay, and together I answer the two questions, and I will add from to finish with Argentina that I think that now that everything is clearer, we can see not as with the tool as Hamed has shared with us, but we can see more the needs of this sector and also of the territories in general. And in AES, the organism where I am working, it is the first time it is more visible for other organisms and also for cooperative mutuals associations to answer to some needs, and their technology during the COVID crisis was a very important tool for us, and also we try to promote digital inclusion through finances, because we don't have half of the population with accounting banking, but almost everybody has a cell phone. But we couldn't. It wasn't policy. It wasn't possible. But we tried a lot, and we couldn't convince the mainstreaming here, unfortunately. And finally, I think that it is very important from now on to keep on and to deep with this kind of policy, not just as in the crisis situation, but it's in permanent situation, because this economy can resolve a lot of needs with a perspective of the mixed economy with three sectors, but with all the economic system, not just a few voluntaries, but with a lot of need of support and visibility. And thank you.
Yeah, muchas gracias, and for the translation first, but also for the testimony from, because I think it's extremely important what has been said regarding Marcelo. And I think what was key, I think, is that it's very positive to see that all the actors of the social economy, I mean, even though they might not have been very visible on time when it was needed, they were ready, and they were ready to answer to the needs. And I think that's the big lessons we can learn. I mean, to say that, okay, I mean, sometimes, I mean, we are not maybe as visible, but as soon as, I mean, there's needs, as soon as we are requested to do things and to do more things together, I mean, actions were there. And I mean, Hamed were a bit visionary before. I mean, so they were the only one. I mean, you've seen that the cooperative were able to answer to the request from government, and they did it, and I'm pretty sure they did it very well. So I think it's a good hope. Could we hear about South Korea? What is your comments or what you want to add on this? Jung?
Yeah. I'm sorry about that. Could you speak again your questions?
So the question is to let us know how you perceive the COVID crisis as an opportunity and a way for all the actors of the solidarity and social economy to be somehow more visible and to influence more the global policy of the mainstream actors, financial actors, government, whoever.
As I'm the common officer, some of your questions is a little bit difficult to answer because this is the personal answer, not the government's answers. So
okay.
I think as I mentioned on my presentation, how can I say? The government provides more opportunities to local people to take their own ownership. So in terms of the government role, the government to listen to people's voice and to make the kind of policy how to people to join the government policies like that.
Okay, thank you. I think it's clear that government has to play key roles, and I think that's what has been discussed in terms of dialogue, in terms of partnership, and I think that it's very interesting to see how, at least in South Korea, the government has been sensitive to these issues and is being able to promote it and promote such actions. So I think it's extremely positive. I think that we are running out of time, so I don't know if Jung, you want to mention something special, or I give the floor to each of us to say a 1 minute conclusion, or we don't have the time for it?
No, we have the time, and thank you, Philip. I just wanted to add, because I think our fourth speaker had to leave. So just for that question, to add what just Hyung-Gyun commented, that from, for example, Seoul metropolitan government, they also try to provide more public purchase to the social and solidarity economic actors. There are also like online platforms, even like only markets dedicated for them. And there are also like fairs every year. They're like a week, social and solidarity economy week, and also like in Seoul City, but also at national level. I think we are all trying our best to engage all the actors by providing the supply chain, to be filled all the components. And I think governments could really actually play a role in building those gaps in between, linking those like consumers and then also the producers. Right. That's all I wanted to mention. And 1 minute of the conclusion, including you, moderator, please. Thank you.
Okay, so 1 minute. Who wants to start for a 1 minute conclusion remark? Ladies first. Ruth. It's the French way to do it. It's.
Thank you.
We have a reputation as French people, so let's go ahead. So Ruth, you got the floor.
Okay, many thanks again. It was a pleasure to be here, although the very early 6 a.m. Here in Argentina. But when we share this, this kind of experience, we have a lot much energy. It's not just fighting all the time against mainstreaming and trying to convince all policymakers of all the opportunity that we have with this kind of finance and this SSE economy. So many thanks for the space and for this kind of interchanges, and we keep on.
Thank you. Hamed? So we move from Argentina, Turkey, South Korea.
Thank you, Philip. I want to thank you, the GSEF Secretariat, and for all the speakers, and as a moderator, you, first of all. I joined the Bilbao summit physically. Actually, I really wanted to be in Mexico City, but the travel restrictions and the pandemic make it impossible. Actually, in our last word, as Needs Map, we are very happy to be part of this global movement, and I can clearly state that we have the technology, and if any other places and organizations needs our technology, please let us know. We would very like to create partnership with different locations and sharing our experiences and adjusting according to the local needs as well. So thank you very much again for inviting me, accepting me to giving the floor. Thank you very much to all speakers and moderators.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thanks a lot, and good luck for the prize. We crossed the fingers. Marcelo, I forgot about you. I mean, you are still in Argentina, I guess. Is Marcelo here, or maybe not?
I don't see him.
No, I don't see him as well. So, Jung?
Yeah, first, I'm very thankful for giving me this opportunity to introduce our government social finance sector. And especially, I'm very surprised of the many various people in SSE field. I learned a little bit more actually, more diverse and perspective. I mean, in terms of the SSE, my perspective totally based on my experience, but like the other speakers, their own experience, right? So through the sharing this time, I learned different perspective, different point of view like this. So personally, I'm very thanks this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I will have the concluding minute remark. I mean, for sure, thanks a lot for GSEF to give me the opportunity to moderate, but also to give all of us the opportunity to be together and share experiences. I'm strongly an advocate of sharing experiences. And I have to confess that after this panel, I'm really optimistic about opportunity and what the sectors can bring, because we really saw, I mean, the interaction with the different actors, the government, the municipality, I mean, and the actors in the field, and we saw how the links. And I think it's good to say that, okay, a crisis are opportunities, and that we are all convinced about it, and that the sector was able to take it as a real opportunity. And it's an opportunity to grow, it's an opportunity to serve more people, to be more inclusive. So I'm extremely positively confident for the future. Thanks a lot. Thanks again to all the panel, and it's time to us to either go for lunch, it's in my case, maybe for dinner for people in for South Korea, and then from route maybe for the breakfast.